These are my friends and audience for today. This is Mason, James, and Lindsay. After the Spurs 2014 championship run, Dan McCartney of Spurs Nation wrote an article arguing for Tim Duncan's place among NBA greats, ranking him number 5. He said in his conclusion, given Tim Duncan's combination of peak play, longevity, intangibles, and accolades, Duncan compares favorably with most NBA players in history, and depending on what you value and how you debate his frame, he surpasses all but a precious few. Spurs fans have grown to recognize Tim Duncan's talent and the greatness of his qualities. However, most of the NBA and the general public still overlook Tim Duncan. Before I continue, I'd like to recognize the sources I used for my presentation. I use Spurs Nation, YouTube, and Bleacher Report to find various quotes and supporting arguments. And I also use BasketballReference.com to find Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant's career stats, as well as the Los Angeles Daily News to find more quotes. My name is Jordan McKinney, and today I'll be talking about why Tim Duncan is the greatest player of his generation. Often Kobe Bryant is recognized as this player, but today I would argue the fact that it should instead be Tim Duncan. My case will be based on what I'd like to call the Michael Jordan fallacy, comparing Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant's awards along with their career statistics. All three main points are critical in my argument of realizing Tim Duncan's place among NBA greats, but the first point is critical in this understanding. What I like to call the Michael Jordan fallacy is that since Michael Jordan, there has been this stereotype that players have fit into to be recognized as the great of their day. Like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant and LeBron James have both been fantastic, high-volume, dynamic scorers with larger-than-life personalities. This leaves players who may have the same merits or are also great in their own right to sort of not get recognition just because they don't have this larger-than-life personality and do not have the same playing style as Michael Jordan did. Dan Falvey of Bleacher Report, after the 2014 championship run of the Spurs, wrote an article asking the question, has Tim Duncan finally surpassed Kobe Bryant in greatness? He opened up his article with the following statement. 5 NBA titles later, Tim Duncan is still as quiet as ever. And 5 NBA titles later, Kobe Bryant's ubiquitous hold on the NBA is still alive and well. He goes on to talk about that these two superstars cannot be any more different. Tim Duncan is known for thriving in a place in San Antonio where the limelight and media do not really go and the popular support is not, where Kobe Bryant thrives and feeds off of the LA media and the spotlight that he gets of being on the Lakers. Just because Tim Duncan has a more unassuming personality does not mean that he should not be recognized as the great NBA player he is. Magic Johnson also commented on this phenomenon in the YouTube video, The Beautiful Game, which highlights the Spurs' 2014 championship run. He says, so many times we promote the individual while overlooking the team. And to also, likewise, we also usually highlight the individual players who dominate their team and their team focuses around, and we do not, we overlook the players that fit into a team and contribute to the team and buy into that system are not about themselves. So because of this general phenomena, Tim Duncan's often overlooked because he's focused more on efficiency and buying into the team and his team winning, and he doesn't have this larger-than-life personality that attracts media attention, where Kobe Bryant has always, LA Lakers have always been focused around Kobe Bryant, and his on and off the court demeanor have always gained him the spotlight of the media. Therefore, I believe that superstars having to be just like Mike is really unfair to the sport of basketball as a whole. Greatness should be based on merit and not by fitting into an uncompromising mold. Next, I would like to talk about the notable awards that each of them won. In the NBA, the three great awards I'd like to focus on is NBA championships, NBA Finals MVPs, and regular season MVPs. As this chart shows, Michael Jordan has the most with 6 NBA championships, and then Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant follow him with having 5 NBA championships. And Tim Duncan has 3 NBA Finals MVPs, where Kobe Bryant just has 2, and Tim Duncan has 2 regular season MVPs, where Kobe Bryant just has 1. As you can see, Duncan edges out Kobe Bryant in this area, yet I'd like to see, Kobe Bryant still is often recognized as being the better player. Now I'd like to take a look at statistical analysis and see if this sheds any light on the subject. So the statistical analysis that I would like to focus on today is total points, player efficiency rating, and win shares. One of the first things that sports analysts typically look at when comparing and ranking the greatness of a player is their offensive production. Kobe Bryant averages 25.4 points a game and is 4th on the all-time scoring list. And Duncan has a modest 19.5 points per game for his career average and also is 14th on the all-time scoring list. However, don't let these statistics fool you. Coach Greg Popovich has often joked that the way he has chosen to play Duncan later in his career has wrecked his stat line. Popovich took Duncan from being a go-to low-post player to instead making him a facilitator in the Spurs' high-tempo offense that focuses on outside shooting. And because of this, Tim Duncan's stat line has been lowered, but at the same time, the Spurs have been competitive and relevant throughout Duncan's career. On the other side, Kobe Bryant has always been the central focus of the LA offense, and therefore has had ample opportunity to become one of the greatest scorers in the NBA. Another key statistics I'd like to talk about is player efficiency rating. The player efficiency rating is a per-minute rating that that ESPN.com columnist created. What it essentially does, it takes everything good a player does on the court for his team and subtracts all the bad out of it, and then enumerates the player's total contribution for his team while he's on the court. Kobe Bryant ranks 7th among current NBA players with a 23.2 player efficiency rating. Is also 19th all time. Duncan has a 24.5 player efficiency rating and ranks 5th among current NBA players and 13th all time. And as you can see, the gap between might be a little bit skewed because of the smaller numbers, but there's a considerable difference when ranking Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant's player efficiency rating. And the last statistic I'd like to talk about is win shares. Win shares is the enumerated number or statistic that takes into account how the players' contributions on the court translates into their teams winning games, which is the ultimate goal in professional sports. Kobe Bryant has 173.1 win shares total for his career, which is 5th among active NBA players and 15th all time. Duncan, on the other hand, has 201.2 win shares, which ranks number 1 among active NBA players and 6th all time. So, although Kobe Bryant is a far better scorer, outright better scorer than Duncan, when you take into effect how their contributions on the court factor into the team winning games, and you factor out the particular style of play, and instead factor in again how this translates into team winning games, Duncan is by far the superior player. So to summarize, today I talked about why Tim Duncan should be considered the greatest player of his generation, surpassing that of Kobe Bryant. And I based my argument on exposing the Michael Jordan fallacy, as well as comparing the awards and the career statistics of Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant. Tim Duncan is already recognized as probably the greatest power forward of all time by many, but not only that, he should also be recognized as the greatest player of his generation. Kobe Bryant may always be the face that people remember when they think about the player to take over after Michael Jordan, but the fact is that he should not be recognized as the greatest player. A quote from one of Dan Farview's article says, "Tim Duncan may not be the face of his generation, but he, quiet and humble as ever, is its greatest product." So again, while Kobe Bryant might be the player that people remember because of his on and off the court theatrics, and Tim Duncan was much more unassuming and humble, Tim Duncan still, as you can see, due to the awards he's won and also career statistics show, is the greatest player of his generation. So my hope is for after today and after the information I presented is that you will stick up for Tim Duncan and recognize him as the greatest player of his generation as he rightfully deserves. Thank you.